Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Now, my optimistic scenario, as I've said in the past, let's be very optimistic in the spirit of Leibniz. Let's assume that the Wall Street gang forces the Tea Party fanatics to knuckle under, or at least enough Republicans to knuckle under, so that the tremendous cataclysmic crisis of the U.S. default can be avoided. Right? Today, Obama said, let's avoid Armageddon. Yeah, let's avoid Armageddon if we can, even with Obama, since that's what it is, right? We don't want the end of the world. But assuming that the Wall Street gang does bludgeon the Republicans into obedience to the interests of Wall Street, who are the owners, after all, of the Republican Party, and have been for a century or so, then you're going to have some very angry Republicans, and they're going to be looking around for a way to act out. They're going to want to show how much they hate Obama and how much they're against Obama, and they're going to look for an issue. And my answer to that is, make it Libya. And indeed, what we're trying to do here is to play one group of evil people against another group of evil people with the hope of reducing the net evil in the universe. So remember that in the House of Representatives, we are currently 15 votes short of a majority to cut off the funding to Libya. And with the Cole Amendment, we've also seen that at least the House does not trust those Libyan rebels because they are al-Qaeda. And that's what Bachmann says, and Gingrich says so too. So today, what do we have? At the contact group in Istanbul, what a shame, the U.S. has officially recognized al-Qaeda as the legitimate government of Libya. No other way to put it. The terrorists of al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group have now been officially recognized by the United States as the only government of that sovereign state. Unbelievable. Obama, Hillary, the National Security Council, Sam Power, McFaul, and the various ambassadors, they are now in material support to terrorism, because the goal of this is to take as much of the stolen Libyan assets as they can and transfer it to the likes of Jalil, Yunus, Jabril, Haftar, and their thousands of al-Qaeda fighters, foreign al-Qaeda fighters that have come in from Afghanistan, from Pakistan, and from the rest of the world. That's what they want to do. Heavy weapons for al-Qaeda, big money for al-Qaeda, diplomatic support, media support, make Libya into the terrorist paradise of the world. Probably the Emirate of Darna can become the world headquarters now for al-Qaeda. No longer in those damp caves of the Hindu Kush, but now right on the wonderful Mediterranean coast of Libya, you can have your headquarters. And that, of course, will mean an open sore. Terrorism, piracy in the Mediterranean, back to the Barbary pirates, except this time al-Qaeda. So, I don't know, Republicans, you can impeach a Secretary of State, you can impeach any federal officer you want. You guys in the House, you know that these people are al-Qaeda. Hey, Bachmann, hey, Gingrich, inject some life into your flagging campaigns. This is a really sinister plan. It also, of course, means that nobody in his right mind would ever put assets in the U.S. again if they can be stolen with this degree of horrendous facility. I'm afraid one of the sad casualties today is the Turkish Foreign Minister Davutoglu, who seemed to be an intelligent man, but now he has precipitated pretty much to the same level as Hillary Clinton, making these idiotic demands for the ouster of Gaddafi. Now, we're told all the imperialist speaking tubes say that Gaddafi has a cash crunch, he has shortages, that the tide has turned in the last week. I don't see it. I saw a counterattack that pretty much knocked the rebels on their heels, to put it politely. I think what's going on is the media clowns in the Rixos Hotel, or the ones in the nearby areas, right, in the Western Mountains, they're trying to hype the rebel offensive simply because the coalition is crumbling, right? Norway announcing they're dropping out. Holland, Netherlands no longer willing to bomb. U.S. House of Representatives looks really bad. Berlusconi flaking off. Italy not happy. Northern League demanding the end of this. They're trying to squeeze Gaddafi. They don't seem to understand that Gaddafi has cash hoards in the country, that Libya had to deal with economic sanctions for, 10 years or so. For the whole 1990s, they were under economic sanctions for more than 10 years. So they have all of the apparatus ready to deal with the economic sanctions. So this is manic stuff. The Russian sources, the Russian envoy, points to the fact that there are also weapons reserves from Gaddafi that have not been used, surface-to-surface missiles that would be used as soon as an inviting target becomes available, and that might be a fleet or some other form of invasion. So, without wanting to follow that Russian report any further, this is not a suicide threat. This is a self-defense mechanism. I think the message for Sarkozy, July 14th, Bastille Day in Paris. Quelle honte, quelle honte, quelle honte. What a disgrace. What shame. De Gaulle is rolling in his grave. He can't believe the degradation of France under this Sarkozy. Switching now to Egypt. Remember that in 1848, the turning point of the entire thing was the June days in Paris, right, where the radical national workshops under Louis Blanc had come forward with the workers and the city mob, frankly, of Paris, and they wanted their demands. General Cavaignac, reactionary, shot them down, and there was a bloody clash in the streets, barricades. Those were the June days, late June 1848. Is Egypt now going towards a thermidor of this type? Is Egypt moving towards June days, maybe July days, maybe August days, but summer days? Is Field Marshal Tantawi, the new General Cavaignac, is he going to be the guy who opens fire on the protesters in Tahrir? I think this is not excluded. And again, you had some July days there in the Russian Revolution too. Maybe they can be brought to bear in terms of the general dynamics of the way these things work. Egypt needs an October revolution or a November revolution with some real content, because as people now realize, nothing was accomplished by getting rid of Mubarak. You've now got the same government with people who are bigger scoundrels and have less standing than Mubarak did. Mubarak had merits. These people have no merits. Tantawi took orders from Sam Power and from Michael McFaul and the Obama National Security Council telling him to overthrow the president of his country. Isn't there a Nasserist colonel or a group of Nasserist colonels somewhere in Egypt who would like to do something about that? Isn't there maybe in Pakistan such people too? We'll get to that in a minute. Now also in Syria, it's clear that the whole thing in Syria is stagnating mightily, but still we have the Gay Girl in Damascus School of Journalism. Gay Girl in Damascus. Remember, the fake blog done by a U.S. academic and his wife from the American Friends Service Committee, and, of course, the American Friends Service Committee, so often accused, I don't know one way or the other, but often accused of being a CIA front. So is that where a lot of this stuff comes from? I'm afraid we have to think that it does. So anyway, we've got the Wall Street Journal today publishing the secret chronology of the destabilization of Syria. We'll try to give you a summary of that in just a minute when we come back on World Crisis Radio.